Tales meant to scare kids, told in whispers between flashes of firelight, under the stars where every shadow feels like it's watching. But what if I told you some of those stories weren't fiction at all? Tonight, we're venturing into the dark to uncover campfire tales that turned out to be disturbingly real. From vanished hikers, ghostly figures in the woods, to creatures thought to be pure legend. These are the stories where truth and terror collide. So grab your flashlight and don't look behind you. Story 1. The Man in the Trees. This story's been told in national parks across the US, always with different names, but the same outline. A group of campers wake up to find their campsite disturbed. Footsteps in the dirt. Food missing. One camper says they saw something in the trees, watching. Most write it off as bears or raccoons, until one night in 2018, a man camping deep in the Pacific Northwest left his tent at 2 a.m. to relieve himself. His friend heard a scream. Search and rescue was called in. What they found? A trail of footprints, bare, human, but oddly elongated, leading into the woods. The body was never recovered. Later, when investigators reviewed the friend's phone, they found a video he'd taken earlier that night. In the distant background behind the fire, a shape, tall, thin, impossibly still, standing in the trees, watching. Story 2. The Crying Boy in the Woods in Appalachia. There's a story whispered among hikers. If you hear a child crying in the forest, don't follow it. In 2018, a solo backpacker hiking near the Smoky Mountains disappeared. His gear was found days later, but no trace of him. Then a search team heard it, the unmistakable sound of a child crying for help. 2 volunteers followed the voice deeper into the forest. They found no child, but they did find something else. Claw marks on trees and shredded clothing, not from the missing hiker. One searcher claimed he saw something crouched behind a log, pale, thin, and wrong. When he blinked, it was gone. Since then, 3 more disappearances in that same area were reported, each preceded by witnesses hearing a child's voice. Locals say it's a lure, not a boy. Something that learned crying brings prey. Story 3. The Phantom Hitchhiker of Highway 93. In Arizona, a stretch of Highway 93 has long been feared for its deadly accidents. But truckers talk about something else. Something they've seen on long, lonely drives at night. A woman wearing all white, waving from the shoulder. When they stop to help, she vanishes. No footprints, no trace. In 2003, a dashcam caught footage of this woman for just a moment, her eyes reflecting light like an animal's. The truck swerved. The driver survived but was hospitalized. He told police she was in the road. Then she was in the cab. And then she whispered something. She said, "You were supposed to stop last time." Researchers discovered records of a woman killed on that stretch in 1984, hit while hitchhiking. She was never identified, but descriptions match. And the accidents? They spike around mile marker 112, where she died. Story 4. The Goatman's Bridge, just outside Denton, Texas. There's a bridge with a name that sounds made up. Goatman's Bridge. Local teens dare each other to cross it at midnight, saying if you knock 3 times, something knocks back. But this isn't just a ghost story. In the late 1930s, a black goat farmer named Oscar Washburn was lynched by local Klansmen after he began prospering. They dragged him to the bridge and threw him off. But when they looked, the noose was empty. In the decades since, strange sightings have been reported. Hooved prints on the bridge's wooden planks. A half-man, half-goat creature seen just beyond the tree line. And people who visit report missing time, saying they were only gone 10 minutes, but an hour passed. One paranormal group claimed their camera stopped recording the second they mentioned Washburn's name. Whatever happened on that bridge, something stayed behind, and it doesn't forget. Story 5. The Cabin That Wasn't There. In Canada's Yukon Territory, there's a tale among hunters and trappers of a cabin deep in the forest. It's not on any map, it's not near any trail, but people find it A warm light, smoke from the chimney. You knock. The door creaks open, and the moment you enter, you feel strange. Cold, even near the fire. In 19, a group of snowmobilers got caught in a blizzard. They claimed they found a cabin and waited out the storm. They described food in the cupboard and someone's coat hanging on a hook. But when they gave the coordinates to rescuers, nothing was there. Not even foundation marks. Even stranger, one of the men 2 years later said he went back, found the cabin. This time it was rotting, empty, and the coat on the wall, it was his. Story 6, the red-eyed thing in the barn. This story comes from rural Pennsylvania. A boy, about 12, sleeping over at his cousin's farmhouse. They sneak into the old barn at night, daring each other to climb the hayloft. Then they hear it, breathing, slow, deep. Not animal, not human. They hide behind bales of hay. The cousin peeks out. His face turns white. He bolts. The boy looks. In the shadows, something tall, hairless, long limbs, and glowing red eyes. Not reflecting, glowing. Years later, the boy, now grown, returned with his brother to prove it was just childhood imagination. The barn was gone, collapsed and buried. But under the debris, they found bones. Lots of them. Not animal. The line between fiction and fear. Campfire stories are how we pass down warnings. They evolve. They change. But sometimes, they stick around because something real happened first. A scream in the woods. A shadow on the road. A feeling that something just beyond the light is watching. So next time you're sitting by the fire and someone says, "Don't worry, it's just a story," you might want to ask, but where did that story come from? Because out here, in the dark, not all stories stay fiction.